Okay. Go.
Will you hand me my screen box?
Now go. It's case number 24S01201SM, State of Michigan versus Carlton Love.
For Carlton Miracle, P number 62755. Oh, Mr. Love. Mr. Love is present. Can you state your name?
Okay. And Mr. Love, you're here for sentencing.
Yes.
Yeah. This is on a conviction for an assault and battery charge by jury. So we did order a pre-sentence report. And did you have a chance to review it with them? And if so, is it accurate?
Yeah, I did send him the presentation of the state report. Did read it over, Brad. Didn't have any correction. Yeah, that's not it. There was in the factual part, family is. Yes.
So prison term was for the conspiracy to deliver the cocaine or heroin?
Yes. Yes.
I'm looking at the judgment sentence for that prison term that was filed on September 17th and 19th. 360 months along with associated fines and fees. The defendant was discharged, I believe, in 2015 after transferring probation from the Eastern District of Pennsylvania to the Eastern District of Michigan.
Okay, what would you like to say? Oh, you were going to say something?
I was just going to say that was a jury verdict.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did read the precinct investigation report. The probation is asking for 30 days in the Oakland County Jail. I think that's a little excessive for this because of Mr. Love's age and his physical ailments. Also, he can lose his job. So we're asking for probation in this matter.
Okay. Do you wish to say anything? Do you wish to say anything?
Yes. Just want to apologize to Ford. Megan. Ford.
Okay.
And my family also.
You know, Mr. Love, you are little precious commodities. We bring these kids into the world, and they're the most helpless of all mammal babies that there are. But yet they become, down the road, some of those smartest mammals on this earth, if not the smartest. So that goes to show that there's an evolution to a human baby. It starts with an inability to do anything for itself. It can't feed. It can see. It can look around. And it can try to learn. But it can't move easily. It doesn't crawl at first, although some of these babies are coming along a little faster than they used to. But they can't feed themselves. They can't tell you if somebody's hurting them. So as they get a little older, and they claim, and I don't know who said 18 was grown, but somebody came up with this idea that 18 makes you an adult. At 18, you're grown. Physically, you're not really mentally grown. You're really not totally physically grown because people grow into their early 20s. And you're certainly not experienced in life unless you've been living on the streets. And most of these young kids are not doing that. Who do they look for then to guidance but the elders? They look to their parents, their aunties, their uncles, their older siblings, even older kids that they see at school to pattern themselves after to figure out what is right and what is wrong. And that is why we hold them to a different standard until they reach adulthood, because they don't process things the same way we do. Now, you had a little girl who might have looked like she was growing into a young woman, and I'm sure she was. She's a little girl in the mind. She's probably more experienced now in college from what I heard in the testimony, than she ever was. But she's smart and she's growing. You are not her blood relative, but you sure acted like it. You were dating her aunt. You were Uncle Carlton to her. So why would she be put in a position with you to feel uncomfortable in any way, shape, or form? Why would a grown man be talking to a little girl about, is she having sex? Is she dating? No, I would be appalled if somebody did that to my daughter and it wasn't her father or me. You have to know what your place is. And then to follow that kind of conversation up with graphic conversations about sex, women versus women and women versus men, and how white girls are easier to touch than, and they'll do anything, and they'll, all that conversation about sucking people off, and it was ridiculous. A young lady should never hear that, even if you had some great intentions, which I don't think you really did. They should never be hearing that from somebody that's not their parent or that's not been authorized by their parent to talk to them about this kind of thing. Your responsibility was to teach her how to drive. That was it. And she comes out of that mortified to the extent that she don't want that to happen to her little sister, who you are now going to teach how to drive. And then on top of the conversations, she's alone with you. You're touching her. Not necessarily to the level that anybody could have charged a criminal sexual conduct fourth degree, but barely. She felt violated. She said she didn't know what you were going to do. She felt that you might do something to follow up with this conversation. That's just wrong. And there's no right in it. And you had to see that because she's like 17, 16, 17, now 18, I think. You're 59. How do you know? You'd have dated many a woman, young and old. How do you not know the effect of something like that on a young person? And we heard testimony from the witness that said that's grooming. It's getting them ready for something. And that's what she testified, she being the victim, that she felt like something was going to happen. And then she's, still got to deal with you because you're the aunt's boyfriend. You're teaching her how to drive. You're taking her home. And kids don't necessarily know how to say, forget you. I'm not getting in the car with you. I'm not talking to you no more. They don't do that. There was a very mannerable young lady. She looked like she followed the rule. Whatever they tell the girl, they'll say she would follow. And finally, she was able to, at some prodding, to tell somebody about this. You put her in a bad way. I don't know what your intent was, but you're this far away from getting some kind of criminal sexual conduct charges that would have made you have to register as a sex offender. You spent 23 years in a prison. You know what that's like. You got a second chance to come out here and do something good. People are rehabilitatable. We don't hold per se. Society might to a degree, but we try not to hold somebody's background against them. If you can show that you're a stand-up kind of guy that's learned something and you're trying to do better, how can you say that if you're doing this? You don't want to. I was saying something earlier today about the world is going crazy. And you see the fight, if you're aware, if you're awake, in everyday life, you can see the fight between good and evil. People doing crazy things to children, their parents, and other people they don't even know, no matter what age it is. The devil has gotten busy on this earth. And you are letting him use you instead of standing up for what you know is right and being that figure that she thought you were supposed to be. Uncle Carlton, dating my auntie. You should really be ashamed of that. And you need to get it together because this is a pass through. You 59. Let me tell you, the average age for men, especially African American men, is a little less than most men for living. It's like in the 70s. And let me tell you, I see it every day. Somebody's dying that I knew or knew of. So this is not a joke. You don't got much time left if you're going by the averages. But only God knows. Maybe he keeps you here till you're 95 or 100. Just so you can start to learn how to seek him. So horrible things and good things can happen, both. So you can make the right choice because on this pass through, it's really what did you do during that time frame? Because this is going to be over. The rest of it is eternal. You'll see. We'll all see what happens. Do you really want to put yourself in that position and that you don't know and then you're down in the wrong place? And for people who have had near-death experiences, you can read. It's not good, the other spot. People are living their own living hell over and over and over again. It can't stop. It just keeps going and going and going. So say those who have seen it and experienced it, who got out by the skin of their teeth and were given a second chance to come back here to right their own wrongs. Now, nobody's perfect. We're all doing bad things. That's just the way it is since the original sin. But we all are capable of redemption. To ask for the forgiveness, to get our heads on straight, to follow the words if we're believers, and to just try to lead the life and do something good, even if only one person knows what it was you did. You did something good, you left a good legacy, and you followed the preachings of God, if you're a believer. That's what you got to do, because 23 years you just spent paying for some really bad behavior. Then you get out and have 23 more years maybe, and this is what you got going. This is the ranks of the devil getting busy. I don't know why you bothered that little girl like that. She don't have nothing but a good future ahead of her. Good student appears to be. She's in college. You're teaching her how to handle herself with men. And what you probably are doing is scarring her a little bit about men and what to expect in a relationship where somebody's supposed to care for you like a family member. Well, if you were caring like a family member, what are the people who don't care for her or are not in her family going to do to her? This is frightening. And no young lady should have to go through any of that. In her thoughts, in her mind, and then to worry about her little sister going through the same thing. So, hopefully, she would accept somewhat of an apology for you. But the problem is she's going to have to see you again and again and again because you still in dating her aunt. You ain't even married to her aunt, but you over there. You a part of it. Showing up at her other job, bringing her gifts. No, you need to let this little girl alone. Let her grow to a mentally stable young woman without you meddling. You're not her relative. You don't need to even talk to her. If you're going to date her aunt, you need to stay away from her. That's what I'm going to order. Is there anything that you wish to say, Mr. Shasta?
Yes, Your Honor. The people would just say that having conducted this jury trial, having put Ms. Grant on the stand and testified what happened over the course of these 30 years, the people find crimes such as these to be heinous and some of the most heinous of their kind because of the collateral effects crimes like these cause. Well, the first conversation I had with Ms. Grant when this case came to me and was set for jury trial was, listen, you are at university now. You are at the University of Michigan. You're doing very well for yourself. There's a problem with crimes like this and where you're at in life sometimes. People who take advantage of other people will be able to recognize that you went through something like this. And unless you're willing to say something about it and speak up about it, they're going to victimize you. So, that was one of the longest conversations I had with her before we went to trial on this matter, because I feared with the environment she's currently in that she could become a victim again. However, through the course of this trial, through your taking the stand yourself, having to face the defendant face to face, and tell 7 random people from the community exactly what happened to her and what the defendant did, as a matter beyond a reasonable doubt did, um, that gave her strength back and power. She looked like, after talking to her after the jury trial, she looked like a completely different person. She wasn't scared anymore. She has her power back. I believe the recommendation of probation is more than fair in this matter. And as the court remembers, the defendant himself did testify. The jury did not believe anything the defendant said, leading to the guilty verdict. I find the apology to be hollow at this point. I ask you to follow the recommendation of the commission. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Love, it's funny because, we got a law office here to send a nice letter on your behalf indicating that you're committed to recreating your life. Whoever wrote this, Linda Suve, who is one of the partners from the firm, Sauve, Pendracky, and Burks, says she's seen you grow. You've taken the responsibility for your actions. Since you've been on parole, this is the only contact you had with the law. You found a nice, comfortable apartment. You furnished it. You've been employed transporting special needs children, seniors, and patients that are challenged. Close to your sons. Your doting grandfather. You have 2 sisters that rely on you. Big brother, even though you're actually their junior. If she's sick, you go over and drop her off things. Oh, this is great. So guess what? People who are predators on young people have these good qualities too. So it's not inconsistent that you would do certain positive things. Maybe you got a fetish for young girls. I don't know why you did any of this, but that's what it's feeling like. And I don't know if it's rehabilitatable, but I will try to the best of my abilities.
Yeah, I don't know. And I know, you're out of a long time and how upset in a case like this. But when you go through the testimony, there was no testimony of him saying, I'm trying to have sex.
No,
It was. And I mean,
it was all grooming, if you believe that witness, and I did, because it led up to that. Who is having these kind of conversations with a young baby girl like this? Even though she was young, she wasn't even an adult when he started this course of conduct. And it did it every year for at least 3 years. So, I mean, yeah, no, he's not stupid. He's not going to say, yeah, I want to have sex with you. She felt that way though.
but sometimes people are socialized different. I know, like,
Socialized to different how? That you felt that it's okay to talk about 2 women having sex, and yeah, well, you know what? If you like women, do you like men? You having sex yet? Who has this conversation with some lady that they're a little girl that they're not related to?
I know that my family members would always,
If you got a boyfriend, it's one thing.
people getting like pregnant.
Okay, well, your aunt, he's not her family. Your aunt is a woman. Women feel differently when women talk to them about it. She would probably feel a little uncomfortable. Her own father talked to her about it, but he's not. He's not related at all. And he's talking to her in isolated circumstances when nobody else is around. Not good.
I just remember my prom night, my uncle told me, don't have, the guy was older, don't you have sex? I'm on no baby. So,
That's different. And they should say that. on prom night. Over 3 years, he did this. No, not prom night, nothing. And talking about women on women sex and what's okay and what white women will do, and they'll just suck you off. I remember this, and I'm appalled. I'm like, who's having this conversation? And the jurors have to been too, because that's why he got convicted.
Yeah, we're asking for, I did see that in the, precinct investigation report, it did have a program, I think that program is anybody. But we're just asking that, so they can be able to work, if he loses his job, if he has to spend 3 days in jail, and then he'll be in a worse situation when he comes out. We're just asking probation, and any violation of probation, be 30 days.
Okay, sentence of the court. 24 months of probation, $980 in oversight fees on each count, $500 fine. He is going to have certain conditions, 3 days community service work at a nonprofit agency, mental health counseling, no alcohol, no unprescribed drugs. There will be drug testing, and no contact with more. So if her family, you need to see the aunt at the aunt's house, and don't go to any family events where she's gonna be there. You will also take and get involved in a sex offender program. You will maintain employment, $75 crime victims rights fee, and $100 pre-sentence investigation fee, and 30 days in jail with credit for one on each count concurrent. And that's gonna complete the sentence of the court.
Yeah, can you say over 30 days in the bag?
No.
And
Nope, you gotta go. You gotta learn something from this.
can he do, Donna, can he do self-reporting? Cause he did drive. He did drive.
She wants to say something about that?
I leave it to your discussion. I personally, if you ask me, he goes with Charles.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's not a flight risk. He's come to court every time.
Yeah, right. Until now. I don't like people reporting because I've been burnt on that too many times. So no, you gotta go. Somebody else can get the car. You can call and make a call. Somebody can get the keys. You can take the keys now. Okay. That concludes this matter.
Good time for her. So,
No, it's not. Case number 21H00117FY, State of Michigan versus Gregory Williams. Mr. Williams set for show cause for failing to pay fines and costs. He has now failed to appear, so bench warrant for his arrest will issue, and the bond is $1,188 cash or surety.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
You have got to be kidding me. What is going on today? This is a joke. This is a joke. Today is an absolute an interpreter.
I need an interpreter when I cannot express myself somewhere.
Oh my God, sir, put that cigarette out. I don't give a crap that you are outside of this. What is wrong with everybody today? You know what, Miss Reed, we're going to start bringing people in first. We're going to learn how to act in a courtroom.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Ma'am? Ma'am? Can you hear it? Okay.
No paper. Trust me, at the end of the day, I'm sitting up here, I'm the one that needs a drink.